Pikachu!
Hello friends, and welcome once again to the Pika Pals Podcast. I'm your host, Pokemon Trainer Jed, and I thank you for tuning in. Now, the Pika Pals Podcast is where I am on a mission to rewatch, recap, and laugh my way through every episode of the original Pokemon anime series. But along the way, I'm going to have special guests on the show, including family members, friends, and members of the Pokemon fandom. And today's episode is another special guest episode with two of my friends, Ben and Finn. So, two guests, one show coming at you today. Enjoyed recording this with Ben and Finn, and thank you to the two of you for being guests on the show. I know that you're keen to return in future, whether you return as a duo or return individually, who knows, let's mix it up. But today's episode, we play the Pick a Pokeball challenge, we reminisce about Pokemon on the schoolyard, growing up as Pokemon fans, where we first discovered Pokemon on the TV, and much more. Quite a deep dive into Pokemon cards in this episode, and I know a topic that we'll be keen to revisit in future. Ben, in particular, is like a Pokemon card expert, so I'm really looking forward to getting him back on the show and having a special episode where we can talk about his Pokemon card collection. Don't forget, as always, you can follow me across the social medias at YeetAmania if you've got any Pokemon questions or suggestions or complaints or, I don't know, whatever. Or you can send me an email at yeetamania@gmail.com. But let's get to today's special guest episode with my friends Ben and Finn. So turn that hat backwards, grab your Pokeballs, and get ready for the Pika Pals Podcast. Let's go! Hey everyone, we're back on another episode of the Pika Pals Podcast, and today I am joined by two of my very good friends, and two people who I've been looking forward to getting on the show for a long time. They are Finn.
Hello.
And Ben.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me on the Pika Pals Podcast.
Oh, it's an honour to be on here, to be fair.
It's exciting.
Very exciting. Thank you for having us.
I got past recording one episode, so that was an achievement for me. I mean, at this point, I might even be at like 9 or 10 episodes.
And we're proud of you for it.
I appreciate that. So, we've known each other for a long time now. Well over 10 years. Mm-hmm. But I've met you well over 10 years.
Well over 10 years also.
Well over 10 years.
So, hello Ben, hello Finn. Firstly, the first question I like to ask everyone who comes on to the Pika Pals Podcast, and starting with you, Ben, who's your favourite Pokemon and why?
My favourite Pokemon is Arcanine and Growlithe. And I'm going to say it's... I don't know.
What drew you to them when you were a kid? Like, their characters? Because even though they're are they like lion, tiger-y-esque? But they're kind of like a dog. They're kind of like a companion dog.
Alsatian almost.
Yeah.
But I think the fact is the pseudo-legendary status that lies behind Arcanine is the fact that he's the only one in the Pokédex entry classified as a legendary.
Oh, right. And maybe when you first were discovering Pokemon or reading through Pokemon book or magazine or whatever it was as a kid, maybe you were like, this is my guy.
I think so.
That's not really explainable
and
why
he's
someone
a big
gets
fluffy boy.
Yeah, that's
He is a big
true.
fluffy boy.
He is a big fluffy boy.
What's your viewpoint of Growlithe then, in comparison to Arcanine? Is it on the same level of liking?
It is. It's cute puppy. And they come hand in hand, obviously the evolutionary line. One of the first things I seek out in any of the games is always the earliest point I can get the Growlithe
Well, that's a fun fact though for you as a Pokemon fan is the fact that you collect pretty much every single Arcanine in terms of the cards, don't you?
Correct?
Do you know the highest level you got on an Arcanine or a Growlithe 2 in one of your games before?
Always 100.
You've got them up to 100.
Yeah, always max them out.
Are they the first ones you always send to 100?
Yes.
Oh wow, interesting.
And you like you like their whole evolutionary line, the whole family.
Yeah.
You like both of them.
Yeah, love for Growlithe is just the same.
Yeah, in the anime and in the early episodes of the anime, one of the first appearances of him, he's like with Officer Jenny.
Officer Jenny, the K9 unit.
And then there's the episode where they have like the Pokemon race, and it's got the you have to help me out. I've forgotten what she's called. You know, the flame horse.
The Rapidash.
Yes, and there's a.
Oh, sorry, forgive me. The Ponytail that evolves into the Rapidash.
The Ponytail
during the episode.
But there is a Growlithe in that episode, and then again, like this will be stuff that we'll get to, Pika Pals. So don't worry. Like bear with me. All this exciting stuff is to come. What you then later discover is that James from Team Rocket had a Growlithe when he was a little boy.
Yes.
See, I missed that completely. That shows I need to rewatch the originals.
Well, stay tuned to the Pika Pals podcast.
Yeah, I will do.
Where I'll be recapping, rewatching, and laughing my way through every episode of the original anime series right from the very beginning.
Poor little Jim.
Yeah, he had a Growlithe, didn't he?
He did.
What happened? Actually, I'll leave that for the episode. I was going to say what happens, but obviously I'll wait for that episode then in anticipation.
And tattoo as well.
Yes, I do have a Arcanine tattoo based off of one of the Pokemon card arts.
Wow.
Is that your favourite art, like card art?
It was the one I thought would translate the best into tattoo.
Oh, cool. How long did it take for that tattoo to obviously be done?
It was about 4 hours.
4 hours. Is that in one session? Or
It is, yes.
Oh, wow. Or even colouring and everything else?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Because I know a lot of people with their tattoos, they have to go back for like multiple like shadings and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, this one was one sitting because it's quite a small one.
I think in terms of favourite Pokemon or being a fan of a Pokemon, that's almost like the highest commitment, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
If you're to
Anything on your skin. If you're a fandom for anything, not even just Pokemon, for anything at all, and you've got it willing to put on your skin, it shows like how much of a commitment you have to like the love for that thing. And it's the same for Pokemon, obviously for Ben in that situation. Obviously, loving Arcanine enough to be able to have. Oh, do you have any other Pokemon on your body?
I don't, not yet. I would like to get some, but money.
Yeah, yeah, they are expensive tattoos. Who else would you rather have on your leg or on your body or whatever?
I am looking at getting both a Growlithe and a Pokeball.
Oh, cool.
Because, the symbol of Pokemon itself, that speaks to me as one of the most iconic representations of
the original
brand.
red and white Pokeball.
Yeah.
So your twin, your brother, discovering Pokemon together. But I'm just interested in terms of the dynamics of two brothers who are twins who would have discovered Pokemon around the same sort of time. Who's your brother's favorite Pokemon? Do you know?
My brother's favorite is Charizard. I can't lie. He's common as much as people might think, but he's always had the fond love for Charizard.
Oh, right. Okay, that's cool. I was just wondered if, like, as twin brothers, you both liked the same one.
Yeah, no, he's Charizard through and through.
He's Charizard through and through.
Both fire type Pokemon.
Yeah,
So that's interesting. Yeah. So there is a connection there.
Connection.
Yeah.
Osmosis. And Finn.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Okay.
Who's your favorite Pokemon and why?
My favorite Pokemon is actually a Ditto. And the reason why I like Ditto is because of the fact that Ditto can obviously transform into any Pokemon. And usually, I believe, I might be wrong on this, can turn into any object as well.
So that also iterations
so there's also the fact that you can then also turn into humans as well, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty sure I've seen that before.
Yeah.
So Ditto is really like malleable, and also in the game in particular, Ditto is really cool because the fact that you can then transform into the other Pokemon and then use their moveset. So you could have like a really powerful, if you got a Ditto really powerful up and you're going against your competitor, yeah, of course, obviously you'll be going like against a fire type technically if it transforms. But it's still as powerful as whatever you're fighting against. So you've got a 50-50 chance of winning.
Yes.
Plus, also, it's pretty cool. It's like a little pink blob that you can poke.
If you're willing, if you're happy to accept that he'll, I'm thinking of the Ditto episode where he can't transform his face, so he has like the standard Ditto face. But if you're willing to accept that, your favorite Pokemon could also be, and say we just stick with like the first 151, but now there's like thousands of Pokemon. But your favorite Pokemon could be all of them, really.
Yeah,
because he could transform into every light.
Yeah,
today you could be like Ditto. Today I want you to look like Blastoise.
Yeah, but then at the same time, I do like Ditto for being Ditto.
For what he is, like,
exactly. I could love a Ditto just for being a Ditto.
Pink blob.
Also, I know that there was a thing that came out recently that supposedly Ditto, this is like a fan theory of Ditto, is that all Dittos are a failed version of a Mew. And that's apparently what's been put out there, is the fact that every Ditto, because of the fact that obviously Mew has all these magical powers, obviously they were trying to make a clone of Mew, and obviously they eventually got to Mewtwo, but in that process they had all of those failed ones, which are all the Dittos.
And Mew also has the ability to transform.
There you go.
Ditto fact. Hashtag Ditto fact.
Yeah, that's why he's such a cool Pokemon, because he could be actually, technically, it's not been canon, it's not 100%.
He has the ability.
Exactly. There's a chance that it actually could be a failed experiment, but what a cool failed experiment.
And Mew contains the DNA of every Pokemon.
Exactly. So there you go. That's why that theory makes complete sense, and why Ditto is the number one choice for my mind.
Thank you for both of your answers on your favourite Pokemon. We're similar in age, so we're kind of like we're the perfect age when Pokemon first came on TV. So do you guys remember it on SMTV Live?
I do, yes.
Oh yeah.
And when you think back to Pokemon in your life, or why you resonate with it, what's one of the things that you're like a big fan of in the Pokemon world? Like, whether, I mean, could be a fan of all of it, but what are you a fan of in particular? Is it the trading cards, the Nintendo games, the anime show? What was it as a kid that you were really into? Because when I was chatting with Chris and Evie on the show, Chris doesn't really watch the TV show. He said he only ever really played the games, but he's still a massive Pokemon fan just through that. Yeah. So is there anything in an area of Pokemon in particular that you're a big fan of?
For me, at least, the first introduction to Pokemon was the trading card games, because everyone was so into the trading card games. And then my second intro, actually, before watching the anime, was actually the having Pokemon Blue, because Pokemon Blue was a huge part of my childhood in particular, and I played that religiously. And obviously the anime, then obviously I would watch obviously on TV when it come on, and usually it come on after Chilly Willy, that, if you remember that TV show. So I remember always being like, get past Chilly Willy, I want to get to the Pokemon. But yeah, no, so my intro was first the trading card games, and we had a couple of the original ones, but our main ones that we got was actually from the second one, which is the fossil ones, and the jungle ones were our main ones that we had. But yeah, for me it was the trading card games, then the actual like Game Boy game, and then the anime.
I think that a lot of people were trading Pokemon cards, and some of the kids in the playground that probably didn't really even know what Pokemon was, but they knew that these cards were popular, and they had like these cool pictures on of these
for sure,
these characters and stuff. But
to be fair, even into adulthood, I didn't actually know how to play Pokemon until I had children and wanted to play the game with them, and then it wasn't until then that I actually understood how to play the actual Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah, I never knew, to be honest.
Yeah.
Until I learned from the Pokemon Pocket app. You know, where where it tells you that it does like a tutorial, and I was like, oh, that's what an energy card means.
Although the irony is, I did actually there was a Game Boy game that was the Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy. And I remember having that.
There was, wasn't there? Yeah.
I remember having that and playing that religiously as well. But even then, I had no memory of how actually to play the actual card game, even from playing that game. So it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't until adulthood that I actually learned how to actually play Pokemon actual card game wise.
That's the same for me.
Yeah. But that's the thing, it's like you'd obviously trade them and collect them because they were funky and cool. But my question obviously to you guys as well is, Did you ever have to come across people who said that they had Pokemon cards, but they had like the knockoff Jimmy version where it's like, I think it was like Topps Cards or something, and it was just literally a picture of a Pokemon on it, and there wasn't any kind of like energies or anything like that. It was just a big picture of a Pokemon.
Yeah, there's a separate line of cards, and just recently actually, I sent a picture to you, Ben, and it's like managed to dig out shoebox of Pokemon cards in my parents' attic.
What, original Pokemon cards? Or is it like those like knockoff Jimmy versions?
Oh, both. There's both of them.
Wow.
That's what reminded me, is because they were in there as well. And,
oh wow!
And when I saw them and then looked back on them, I was like, I remember some of those cards more because the actual pictures on those were the same as what was on the anime.
Yes.
Because the pictures on the Pokemon card, the trading card games, the art was different. Like Bulbasaur was drawn different, you know. But the ones, the Topps ones that you're talking about, it was just like a separate line. The pictures on there were like screenshots of the TV show, weren't they?
Also official and now just as valuable.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I feel bad then, because I had a next door neighbour who literally would come round with his Topps cards, and I wouldn't scold him, but I'd be like, I felt bad for him because he'd be like, "Oh, do you want to trade Pokemon cards?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, cool, no worries." And I got my Pokemon cards out to trade with him, proper ones, obviously with the energy and everything else and the move sets. And I'd be like, "Right, what you got?" And he'd come out with his Topps cards, and I'd be like, I don't know. It's like
they're actually pretty cool.
They're
actually
cool.
pretty cool.
They're cool, but like they weren't back then. At least I remember being, maybe I was a snobby kid, but like
Pokemon Elite.
Yeah, I'm a Pokemon snob. But like I was like, oh no, like I really want it.
But I know what. Yeah, I know what you mean in terms of like sometimes you'd be like, dependent, like some kid would just try to do like a NAF trade. Yeah, they weren't trying to.
It's like trying to trade a Pog for a Tazo.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the same thing, but.
Well, you wouldn't go to school with the Topps cards and try and trade Topps cards, Pokemon cards.
I didn't know. I was saying to my brother the other day when we looked back through them, the Topps ones. We didn't know anyone else that collected them.
Well, my next door neighbour.
Your next door neighbour.
You could have traded
with them.
I had to trade my proper Pokemon cards for them because I felt bad for him because I was like, he doesn't have proper Pokemon cards. I'll give him some of mine and then he can give me one of mine. So I think I have somewhere in my collection
some of them,
one of them, or at least a couple of them from my next door neighbour.
If you've got a Growlithe, I'll have it.
And what was crazy when this was only a couple of nights ago. Well, in terms of recording this, don't know when it's going to be listened to. It could have been 100 nights ago, a couple of years ago,
maybe.
But me and my brother looked through and we were like, let's look at curiosity. And like you were saying, one of those Topps ones, there was a Charizard, and I was like, no way. It was PSA graded 10, like top of the line, whatever, on eBay. Someone was selling it for like £250,000.
No.
Yeah.
Those Topps cards,
because they were like
make sure it's in good condition if you find it.
Yeah, I'll have to try and find it.
They were like the lesser known ones.
Yeah, right.
But I think that's why there's less of them around.
So my next door neighbour's probably laughing to himself, being like, "Oh yeah, my next door neighbour,
He might come back round and be like, "Can I trade back?"
Yeah, can I have that Weedle back, please?
Ben, what about you? What is like kind of a Pokemon? What came first? Question: was it the games or the anime or the
They kind of came hand in hand. So the first I remember was, because, not to sound like snobby, but my dad
got a couple of Pokemon snobs on the show today.
This is the Pokemon snob episode.
I'm going to actually, this might be perfect because I'm about to, in terms of my episode review, I'm about to tie it into the one where they go to like that private school.
There you go.
And today on the Pika Pals Podcast, I've got two fans of the private school episode.
I've got two Pokemon snobs.
Two Pokemon snobs. So my dad was always the first to have new media and new technology. So when it came out, he wanted to have Sky. So he had the big Sky dish installed with 500 channels. Therefore, we had Sky 1. And that is my earliest memory of Pokemon being on the TV.
Wow. Oh,
so
okay.
Before it was on SMTV, it was on Sky 1. And we fell in love instantly, me and my brother. And my mum went out into town, and she went into all of the magazine shops, like the trading card shops, to find these things, and they hadn't heard of them. And my mum was like, "Oh, well, I'm pretty sure this is going to be big." And within weeks, months of that happening, lo and behold, we had all the announcements of the trading card coming out, and then the Pokemon Red and Blue. So for my birthday, the first year we found out about it, I believe 98, it was the year in Europe, we got Pokemon Red and Blue respectively, and that's been it ever since.
Oh,
so,
wow! And back in that time as well, it would have been like the trade via the transfer cable.
Exactly that, yeah. So this was Game Boy original before the color, because we didn't yet have the color, and that was.
So you were very ahead of the Pokemon.
It was, as we found out about it, we got into it hard. So 98 is when we were first into it.
I must have missed that completely on Sky One, because we had Sky going into 97, and I must have missed that completely. I could have been ahead of the curve, like on the cool kids who have been like, this thing called Pokemon? Yeah, well, I'm watching it all the time.
But being from small town areas, there was very few people that actually knew about it, and when it first boomed, that we were quite excited about it.
Do you remember the Chubba Chubs used to be able to get Pokemon Chubba Chub and have
with the lolly, the bubble gum inside?
It come with a sticker, didn't it?
It did, yes.
But they used to do that also for the Spice Girls as well. Spice Girls had a version as well. Yeah.
Spice Girls I'm on.
Yeah, I was all over him. I was like, I want Jerry.
Okay, if Jerry Halliwell was a Pokemon trainer, who would her Pokemon be?
Oh, well, I think she'd be very mirroring even to Misty. So I think, because obviously they're both ginger, so I think they both probably go for water types.
Yeah,
I can get behind that.
I'm thinking that maybe she'd be keen on, and we don't actually see in the series as such someone like have this Pokemon as their main Pokemon, in the same way that Ash has Pikachu, but she could have a Jigglypuff.
She could.
Jigglypuff like singing.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, that's a good point. So it could be an army of Jigglypuffs.
Yeah.
That would be a hell of a girl band in like Pokemon world. It's like a whole gang of Jigglypuffs. They'd send everyone to sleep all the time. I've got a question actually, because you talked about the Pokemon game, like the Pokemon Blue one. Did you ever have a situation, because I know I did, that obviously because back along you didn't have multiple saves.
Yes.
And even on the later games you don't have multiple saves. Did you ever have a situation where someone else saved over your game?
Yes.
Do you remember what happened?
I do. Is my original save game is gone. My Pokemon Red. So I came home from school, and my mum had a friend who was a neighbour that had come over with a younger son.
Yeah.
Who had been let go on the game, and when I came home, I remember distinctly the name being changed, saying that it had been played for about 20 minutes and 2 Pokemon and no badges.
Oh my god.
And I had completed this game. Unfortunately, I had all 151 legitimately, because I went to an event in Bristol where Game Freak themselves were distributing a legit Mew. They would take your cartridge.
Yeah, because you could only get it before, where it was like hidden underneath like a car or something. That was like a glitch.
That was a glitch, but that was proven to not work.
Really?
Yeah, that was the surfing by the SSN and using strength from the truck. Didn't work.
Didn't work.
No, I have tried.
And there was the infamous glitch that would break your game.
Yes.
That if you tried to get it, and like it would go around in school, people would be like, "Oh, you got to do this. You might be able to get a Mew or something." And but if you did it, your game was dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there is a legitimate way to do that, which I have also done. But that's since. But my original legitimate copy of it gone.
That's terrible. I mean, I have a similar-ish story, but not to that level, like getting all 151 and also getting like an exclusive Mew. That is so gutting. The only memory I've got of someone saving over mine is I went on a trip to somewhere called Kilve Court, and I took my
shout out
to Kilve Court, sponsoring the episode.
The Pika Pals podcast loves dropping like localized references.
Yeah. So Kilve Court, I remember going on a field trip to Kilve Court as a kid in year 5. I brought my Pokemon Blue with me with my Game Boy, and I was like, "Oh, Mum, can I take this with me?" And she was like, "Yeah, as long as you look after it and all that sort of stuff." I was like, "Yeah, I will." And she was like, "Oh, when you're not using it, make sure it's locked away so then no one can see it, or like so then it doesn't get taken or broken." I was like, "Yeah, no worries, I'll make sure." So I go obviously to Kilf Court, having fun, and then obviously they're doing it in different groups of different events. So I think I had to go out and do archery or something like that. And I was just playing my Pokemon game. I was like, "Yeah, awesome." So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll put it in my bedside drawer so it's nice and safe." I come back from archery, and a friend of mine is in his bed because there's about 6 or 7 beds in this big room, and he's in his bed in the corner, like huddled. And I was just like, "Oh, what is he doing?" I was like, "Oh, that's weird." I was like, "Oh, you know what? I feel like playing a bit of Pokemon Blue." So I open the drawer, it's not there. And I'm like, "What the heck?" I turn around to my friend who's still huddled in the corner, and he then shoves something underneath his duvet. And I'm like, oh, I hope he hasn't got my Game Boy. Lo and behold, he did have my Game Boy. And lo and behold, he also then saved over my game, which I had been playing religiously to try and obviously get to the end. And I think at that point I was at the Elite Four, right at the end, just before where I had to stand outside because I even saved it then and made sure I loaded up with potions and all that sort of stuff because I tried it before and I'd lost. And I was like, right, okay, I'll go back to it. And I remember thinking, oh, I've put it down. I'll come back to it after we've done archery and I'll see if I can beat them. And this was my first time going through it and playing it. And then, yeah, I come back to it. Name had changed to my friend's name. I'm not going to obviously name and shame. But yeah, they had changed the name of the character to him. And yeah, no, and only had like 3 Pokemon and they were all pants.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if they were going to at least raise over the game, at least be good at it.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they'd pick a Bulbasaur.
Yeah. I can't actually remember what they chose, but probably it was a Bulbasaur. Yeah.
Do you guys remember what the response was at your school to Pokemon? Because I know that at my first school, which was around the time when Pokemon and Pokemon cards were first popular and started to get traded, and people were taking them into school, and then there was like people were like, "Oh, somebody's has been like nicked, or somebody's done like an unfair trade," and then so Pokemon cards got banned in my school.
They did with mine as well.
Got banned at your school.
Yeah, I've got 2 stories of the school situation with Pokemon. So first one, the reason why it got banned in my school was, funny enough, just talking about the friend who saved over.
It was him again.
It was him
He's
again.
Like Gary Oak in
literally,
he got 10 badges.
He was my real life Gary, but he was actually a nice guy. But anyway, he got in a fist fight over a squirrel. And that's why, because he was trading Pokemon and he felt it was unfair because he was trading his Squirtle for something, I'm not sure what. Let's say in this situation, a Rattata. Yeah, he was trading it and he said it wasn't fair that the other person was obviously trading a Rattata for his Squirtle and got upset about it. And then the other kid then said, "Well, it's a trade now, give me your Squirtle." And then he said no, and then he got in a fist fight. And then as soon as that happened, banned. Completely banned.
On one hand, I kind of like, when you look back as being, especially I think sometimes I look back and think when I was younger and Pokemon cards and stuff, like I could be like easily swayed into probably doing a deal that was proper screwing me over by someone who was being a bit mean. And then you think, that was a bit mean, but of the other person. So on one hand, I'm like, fair play to him for standing his ground, being like,
he ruined the fun for everyone.
He ruined the fun for everyone. Yeah, he ruined the fun for everone. So that's not so great. But I just don't think schools understood it, and it was just it was just going to create a problem, wasn't it? Because kids were going to go home and complain to their parents. But it's interesting it got banned at all 3 of our schools. We all went to different schools.
Ours was widely due to the media, so we never had any actual incidents in our school. But so Pokemon as a whole was allowed in the school.
Yeah, it's like, but do not mention Pokemon.
Pokemon cards, the trading card game, strictly not allowed to bring them in for our own safety because there was criminal activity,
Team Rocket,
that was happening in other schools that led to, unfortunately, injuries over the Pokemon, and so they were like, "No, we're not even gonna entertain the idea."
To be fair, though, like situations in school when you did have Pokemon cards, it was kind of like early days drug dealing.
Yeah, it does seem like mafia level.
Because there was
crime.
My second story is pretty much that. So like, there was a kid that I'd never known. He was like, I was in like whatever year I was in, year 4 or 5. It must have been year 5 again. And there was a year 6 in this situation. It was a kid that I'd never talked to in my life. I was coming in early in the morning, my Pokemon cards all excited. And he was like, hidden around the corner like a member of Team Rocket, waiting there for me. And he comes out and he's like, "Oh, do you want to trade some Pokemon cards?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, sure, why not?" Bushy-tailed, like excited. I've got these Pokemon cards in my hand, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be trading with my friends." But who's this kid? Oh, he's a bit older than me. Maybe he's got some cool cards. I go over and he shows me really quickly, and it was a shiny Victory Bell. And I was like, "Oh God, that's so cool! It's shiny Victory Bell. I'm all over this. Like, this is amazing." And I was like, "Oh, what do you want for it?" And he was like, "Oh, what have you got?" And I went through all my stuff, and it was like a Pikachu, a Raichu, and all that sort of stuff. And I gave him at least about 6 or 7 cards because I thought, "Oh my God, he's going to give me this shiny Victory Bell." And I thought he was doing a really good deal with me because I was like, "I'm only giving him like base Pokemon." And he was like, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. And he took them, and then he handed it over to me, the Victory Bell. Before I could even look at it, he was gone, just like Team Rocket. And I looked down, it had been folded in half, both top and bottom. So there was a massive crease down the bottom and the sides. And I that was a lesson learned that day, because I was just like, 1, never do drugs. And 2, because of the fact that obviously you shouldn't go to a drug dealer in this situation, and obviously that
that new drug, Victory Bell.
Yeah, Victory Bell.
Always get the goods first.
Exactly. Second is always get the goods first, and third in that situation is then don't trust someone that you don't know, especially when it comes to Pokemon cards.
And did you find as well, because when I was looking through some of the Pokemon cards that me and my brother had when we were younger, and I'm sure it'll be the same for you two, because of how much of a fan of Pokemon you were, but didn't you find as well, like, some other kids used to just really mistreat their Pokemon cards, like scuff them, bend them, and I'd just be like, who treats their stuff like that anyway?
Yes.
Like, the kind of kids who want to trade them.
Yeah, and so, some of them were, like, real bashed around, weren't they?
I've unfortunately got a lot of my original Pokemon cards, and my cousin pocketed them, shall we say.
He Pokemon pocketed them.
Pokemon thief. Pokemon pocket.
Yeah.
Left home.
Oh, wait a minute. There we go. He was a Pika pocket. Oh! Not even Pokemon yet.
Not even Pokemon. Yeah, so, pocketed those, and it wasn't until half hour later we've gone, where are my Pokemon cards gone?
Oh.
And my parents then phoned their parents, swiftly turned around, and obviously had to wait for them to get home at that point because it was landlines. So came back and had to hand them back to me, and they were all scuffed where he'd had them,
and he'd only had them for a little while.
Yeah, squirreled away in his pocket, and all of the hollow foils, because they were the good ones, had unfortunately been wiped away. So I've got those in, unfortunately.
And then, like, more for, like, personal memory reason that they're your original ones. But
Yes.
That's a real shame that...
It is.
And I think that it really brought out the different personalities of different kids on the schoolyard, didn't
Yes,
it? Like,
really
you definitely had some people who couldn't be trusted. They were like Team Rocket / Gary Oak / Pokemon.
Yeah.
On the schoolyard.
I remember at the peak of the time when they were coming out, obviously the original base set, my mum bought on eBay, my brother, both me and my brother, a Charizard card each, of which we still got now, for £8.
Oh, wow.
At that point, that was extortionate, and so I'm not paying £8 for a piece of
for
cardboard.
A piece of card, yeah.
She did. She reluctantly got it for us. We've both got it in original condition.
Wow.
My brother's had his sent away to PSA. He's come back a 7.
Oh, wow.
So his is in relatively good nick. My one, not worth doing, because unfortunately, as I said previously, it's been scuffed. But
that was that kid
it
took
was,
that one.
yeah. I've got that in my binder personally for my own love.
Yeah, it's more just like
memories.
a memory, that one, isn't it? Yeah. The Pika Pals podcast is going to roll on. We're going to play Pick a Pokeball. Going to look at some listener questions.
Okay.
But first, we've got to take a pause for the cause. Keep the lights on in the Pika Pals studio with a quick message from our sponsors. Oh, no, my friends. As when there's guests on the show, they get to read the sponsor ads.
Oh, no.
So,
oh, hell no.
Pika Pals Podcast, obviously proudly sponsored by some pretty elite Pika companies.
Oh,
Have you enjoyed them so far?
Yeah, my favourite was the Machamp pants.
Machamp
and
pants.
I'm actually wearing them right now.
You're
but
wearing
you can't
them.
see them.
No, a lot of people who have listened to the show have bought those Machamp pants. So you must be making a killing.
Yeah, I mean they're cozy, but they also like keep you nice and strong feeling.
And actually, Ben, this is perfect opportunity because I'm collecting the images and I'm wanting to post them. But now that I've introduced you as a guest on the show, each time that the Pika Pals podcast goes out and a sponsor ad's read, you've sent me like a real fun image of like an AI created version of whatever the advert was, and some of the images have been hilarious, haven't they? Like, has there been a particular one of the images that stood out to you? I mean, that Pikachu vacuum cleaner.
The Pikachu vacuum was up there, but I think my favourite has been the Snorlax Sleep Easy mattress.
That I would sleep on that.
I would sleep on it. It looks very comfortable.
That does look very comfortable. Well, if you're willing to give it a go, then the Pika Pals podcast this week is proudly sponsored by, take it away, Finn.
Right, give me a second. Are you tired of the same old blank site? Wait, let me start again. Pika! Are you tired of this? Oh my god. Pikachu? Are you tired of the same old blank snacks? Introducing Omastar's Startastic Seaweed Chips. Revive your taste buds. I'm sorry, but you'll have to edit these bits. Revive your taste buds with these crispy, crunchy, and delight. Oh, God's sake! Let me start again. Pikachu. Let me start. Shall I start again? I'll start again.
I can edit it.
I'll start again, and then you can try and get it in one take.
Right, because why is Kirby be even worse?
It's the fact that I've not read it before, so I'm just like, right. Let me try this again. Are you tired of the same old bland snacks? Introducing Omastar's Startastic Seaweed Chips. The snack's so good, even Gyarados gives a splash of approval. Revive your taste buds with these crispy, crunchy and delightfully sea-salted chips, made from the freshest seaweed in all of Kanto. Each bite is bursting with the unique flavours of the deep blue sea that only Pokemon like Omastar can bring. Omastar's Startastic Seaweed Chips are perfect for trainers on the go or just taking a break after a long day of battling. But don't just take our word for it. Here's a testimonial from our satisfied customer, Misty. Do I have to do a Misty voice?
It's up to you. How do you think the sponsor would like it?
Yeah, probably. Brilliant. These chips are a tidal wave of flavour. My Staryu and Starmie can't get enough of them. Mmm. I added an
but they hired like a Misty voice, like an impersonator for that.
Yeah. For a limited time, exclusively for Pika Pals podcast fans, use the discount code OMASTARBOARD and receive 139% off of your first order. Plus, we'll include a free collectible Omastar chip. Damn it! Pikachu. We'll include a free collectible Omastar chip clip to keep your chips fresh. So why wait? Dive into the deliciousness of Omastar's Startastic Seaweed Chips today. Available at all good Pokemarts and Cerulean City stores near you.
And also, Pika Pals Podcast this week is proudly sponsored by... Take it away, Ben.
I prefer not to read mine.
I'm so sorry. You'll have so much editing for that one.
Are you tired of restless nights and uneasy slumbers during your Pokemon journeys? Well, get ready to snooze like a Snorlax with Drowsy's Dream Doze-Off Sleeping Bag. The sleeping bag so comfy, even Jigglypuff's singing its praises. Handcrafted by Drowsy, each bag is made from the finest What? Oh, okay. Pikachu? Handcrafted by Drowsy, each bag is made by the finest hypnotically soft fibres, ensuring a level of comfort that rivals a meadow of Oddish. With this built-in Poképouch, the Pokemon friends can curl up beside you, making bedtime battles a thing of the past. But don't take our word for it. Here's a testimonial from a sleepy champion himself. That's Snorlax voices. Since I started using a Drowsy Sleep Dozing Off sleeping bag, I have been having the sweetest dreams. It's like sleeping on a cloud of Whismer feathers. For a limited time, exclusively for Pokepals... Pokepals?
Pikachu.
For a limited time, exclusively for Pika Pals Podcast fans.
Pika Pals.
Pika, yes, you got that in
Yeah.
my head. Pika Pals.
Pika Pika.
For a limited time, exclusively for Pika Pals Podcast fans, use the discount code DreamyDoze and grab your finest sleeping bag with 96% off. Plus, we'll throw in a free drowsy eye mask, absolutely free. So why wait? Catch some Z's like a pro with the Drowsy's Dreamy Doze Off sleeping bag. It's the ultimate sleep companion for any Pokemon trainer on their journey to be the very best, even in their sleep. Available at all good Pokemarts and your nearest Poke Center.
So
I feel like I could do that so much better.
no, the ones when the guest's on, it doesn't matter what it
We're
sounds
going
like.
down in flames
We're going down
together.
in flames. Yeah, but I feel like I stumbled a lot more
But
than
bless
you did.
guys, because you like fully committed. So like, I really appreciate that, and thank you to those two sponsors, Drowsy's sleeping bag and Omastar's potato chips, for sponsoring the Pika Pals podcast. I've just got message through. Oh, both of them pulled out from sponsoring.
Okay, understandable.
I can understand why. Based on my advert, like I'd pull out as well.
From sponsoring the show in future. Okay, Finn, when I have guests on the show, I'm excited to play my Pick a Pokeball challenge.
Ooh.
I have 2 bags here,
Ooh.
and each of them contain 3 Pokeballs. Because there's 2 of you, I'm going to give you a bag each.
Have you
Don't
got-
look into it. Don't look into it.
Have you got a name for these Pokeball bags?
They're Pokeball bags.
Can I open it? Just not look.
You can open it, just don't look. So, the Pick a Pokeballs
It's a bit
challenge. For those of you who are listening for the first time, each bag has 3 Pokeballs in. I've got 2 guests today, so they're both playing. And if they pick a Squirtle, they get challenged with the Pokedex game.
Oh God.
If they pick a Charmander, they get challenged with the Pokemon Impressions game. If they pick a Bulbasaur, they get challenged with the Pokemon Drawing game. If they pick a Pikachu, they have to do Pokemon Karaoke-mon.
Oh God. Hope not.
If they pick an Eevee, then we're going to play Who's That Pokemon? And if they pick a if they pick a Meowth, we're going to play the Pokerap game.
Oh God.
So when you're ready,
Right.
select your Pokeball.
I've got some ASMR for you.
Okay,
I've,
you got
I've
one?
chosen my Pokeball.
All right, I'll take your Pokeball
My ball bag.
Yeah, thank you for my.
This will be
Pokeball
another.
bag.
This happens every time I have a guest on as well, which wasn't intentional, but it's just that we do one at a time. So Ben, you first. If you open your ball, well, try and figure out how to do it because every guest is like, I can't get it open. I'm just like pull it or something. I don't know. It's really stiff.
Oh.
Who did you get?
I got Squirtle.
The Pokedex number challenge.
Oh. Dear.
Okay,
These are cool though.
so let me just prepare again. Might edit this out. Might leave it in.
I want to pick a different Pokemon. I prefer to do the Poke Rap. I can't remember the original Kanto decks. Or after.
Okay, right. The Pokedex challenge. 4 questions.
Okay.
So this is an example. This is the example, as I was saying to my brother when he was on the show, and he was like, "Is this the example?" I was like, "This is the example. Is this the example? This is the example." So
Is this the example?
if I was to say who in the Pokedex is Pokemon number 1,
Bulbasaur.
Yeah. When you're ready, there'll be like music edited in and all sorts, and then
Ooh.
and ding, and all,
Yes.
all be, when you listen back to
Is it like the? You should have the like. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Can we do it, but I'm right on all of them?
Yeah.
I just figured out who Finn's got.
Can fix it if you want.
Oh, what? How?
That's the telltale sign.
Oh God. Oh, what is mine going to be? I don't know what my game is. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Right.
Okay.
Over to you, Jen.
Okay, Ben. This is only based on the original 151 Pokemon because that's the era of the anime that I'm watching at the moment. Who is Pokemon number 51?
Trio.
correct.
Whoa! Damn.
Alrighty then.
That's pretty impressive.
All right, as we go, Finn, you can choose one.
Oh, I have to choose one. Oh, 100% that one. My one that I'm choosing is number 70.
Psyduck?
Ooh. Pokemon number 70 is Weepinbell.
Voluptuous lips.
Should have known.
Okay, next up. Who is Pokemon number 94?
Onyx.
Oh, that was close. Onyx is 95. 94 is Gengar. Who is Pokemon number 59?
Arcanine.
Correct.
Yay.
Well done, Ben. Thank you for playing the
Thank
Pick a
you,
Pokeball
thank you.
challenge. Finn, who have you got inside your Pokeball?
Oh, God. Oh, I did
Meowth.
it. It's a Meowth.
Meow.
What does Meowth mean?
Meowth.
Remind me.
That's right. Meowth
Means
is
you have to give everyone money because of payday.
Meowth is the Poker Rap game.
Oh, God, what do I have to do?
Well, the Poker Rap game is as follows. I'm going to play you the original
Oh,
Poker
thank
Rap.
God. I thought you were going to say I have to rap it. I'm like, oh, God.
You have to say who's next in the poker app.
And then
Oh, God.
Yeah.
There's only one that I've memorized. So that's
Is
gonna
it Charmeleon?
Yeah, Charmeleon, Wartortle, Mewtwo, Tentacle, Aerodactyl, Omanyte, Slowpoke.
see you're doing a Pidgeot. You're
Yeah.
doing Meowth.
That's all,
Poker
folks.
chat
But
run.
then it ends on Pidgeot, Arbok. It doesn't. They clearly were like, we have to get Pidgeot and Arbok, and how are we going to fit it?
Yeah.
Just chuck it in. That's
all,
fine.
folks.
Yeah.
Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all.
Okay, so we just listened to the Poker Rap, Finn.
Yeah.
Were you paying attention?
I don't think I was, but yeah.
All right, so okay, guys, we got to wrap some Pokemon. You just do the singing. I'll take care of the hard part. Let's get into the Poker Rap. Who comes after Geodude?
Geodude. Oh no.
I'll sing a bit for you.
Okay, yeah.
Zubat,
Zubat.
Zubat, Zubat, Primate, Meowth, Onyx, Geodude.
It's gonna make it worse, isn't it? Because the fact that
Haunter.
yeah. I'm gonna go for Ditto.
Zubat, Primate, Meowth, Onyx, Geodude, Rapidash.
It's Rapidash.
See, Ditto let me down. He's my favourite Pokemon, but he let me down. I mean, I don't know. Ditto can transform
He
into
could be. He
Rapidash.
could pretend that he wasn't.
They're all
So,
right.
te-
They're
so
all
technically,
Ditto.
I'm right.
Welcome to the Poker App. Ditto, 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 ditto.
Then a bit of Rapidash.
Okay,
And a bit of Rapidash.
who's the next Pokemon in this verse? Metapod, Marowak, Clefairy, Dodrio, Seadra, Vileplume.
Rosalina?
Metapod, Marowak, Clefairy, Dodrio, Seadra, Vileplume, Granny.
It looked like you were mouthing to me
It's-
Rosalina. I was like, Rose?
Clefairy, Dodrio, Seadra, Vileplume, Krabby.
Oh, I was completely wrong. I thought it was
Oh,
Jinx.
I'm terrible at this.
Jinx.
I only know one rap. So I'm done.
Okay, okay. Right, I'll give you one more there. I'll just give you the last one.
Right, yeah.
Charmeleon, Wartortle, Mewtwo, Tentacruel.
Aerodactyl, Omanyte, Slowpoke, Mewtwo, Arak.
Chameleon, Wartortle, Mewtwo, Tentacruel, Aerodactyl, Omanyte, Slowpoke, Pidgeot, Arbok. That's all, folks.
Da-da, da-da-da-da-da. That was Pick a Pokeball challenge. Thanks for playing today's contestants.
I like that.
Yeah. That was terrible.
I'll edit it. It's fine. The guest episodes are just having fun. Like it
Yeah.
don't really matter. There's no structure to it. I don't even know what I was doing in the first place, to be honest. That was the Pick a Pokeball challenge. Thank you for playing. Do you want to do some Pokemon jokes?
Sounds good to me.
It's Jokomon.
It's time for everyone's favourite segment. Jokomon!
Yay!
I'll start off here. Why did Mankey quit his job at the Pokemart? Because he was tired of working for peanuts and Pokeballs.
Do you hear that silence?
Okay, next on the list.
So what? What did Voltorb say when he saw his reflection? That's shocking.
Oh, there you go.
Why did Tauros cross the road? To get to the other side and maybe find a better trainer.
What? Just ditch him completely.
What do you call a Pokemon sing-along? Karaoke.
That's actually the best one I've heard.
That's poker joke ever. That's so funny.
Oh my god, Jokemon's got a genuine laugh. This is a historic day, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god.
Jokemon has got a genuine laugh.
Gotta say that one. Oh god. Why did Brock refuse to use a Master Ball? He said it took all the fun out of rejection.
Oh, and he's used to getting rejected.
That's actually a really sad joke.
Sad.
But maybe like he likes getting rejected.
Maybe he wrote that joke himself about his own life. Oh, that's quite sad.
This is good. We're laughing before we read it, so this is good.
Okay, I'm excited.
Man, that rock type is really fast. Yeah, he puts the go in Golem.
Oh god. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I'll take us home. I took my Electabuzz to the vet. He said, "You need to stop feeding him electricity." I said, "But that's his diet." The vet said, "That's not how it works."
Oh no. It didn't make any sense whatsoever.
And Electabuzz said,
Does Electabuzz eat electricity? I don't know. Thanks everyone. That was Jokemon. Jokemon.
An actual genuine joke.
An actual one.
Karaoke
An
made me
actual one who
karaoke.
actually laughed. That's being. I'm
That's
copywriting
historic.
that. I'm copywriting that.
Yeah.
Because the author of all of the jokes is unknown on
okay.
the Pika
Yeah.
Pals podcast.
Okay.
He uses a pen name.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe Kimon.
Ah.
But
that should be a joke itself.
well, yeah, I'm not taking credit for them because it's the author's unknown.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay, that was Jokemon, and let's see if we've got any listener questions this week. It's time for ring, 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 phone call, phone call.
Ring, 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 phone call, ring, 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 phone call.
Hello, this is the Ketchum residence.
Okay, right, I've got my guests on the show this week, so I've got Ben and Finn, and our first question comes from Charlie Charizard. Oh, thank you, Charlie Charizard. He says, "Hey, Jed, Ben, and Finn." I don't know, I knew you guys were going to be here, but maybe they did. He said, "If Pokemon were real, which one would be the most dangerous to encounter in the wild?"
Oh. Ooh, which one would be the most dangerous to encounter in the wild?
I always think Gyarados is like, whoa,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
pretty bad, isn't he?
But you'd have to be in the water for that one.
Yeah, that is true.
Although Hypno is dangerous because he can then hypnotize you to do whatever he wants. So that's pretty dodgy. That's pretty
That's true, that's
especially,
dark, but
especially
it's
down a
dodgy.
dark alley as
And you
well.
wouldn't know. You wouldn't know.
You
it
wouldn't
happened.
know.
I think just because of short fuse, I'm going to say probably Primate.
Yeah, that's true. And you wouldn't want to wear a hat around him, would you?
No, definitely
yeah.
not.
That's quite
He'd
angry.
be all over that hat. Next question comes from Noel here, who sent it in via email. They've said, "Did you ever believe any fake Pokemon facts when you were young?"
Funny enough, we talked about it earlier, didn't we? I obviously believed that you could get a Mew from underneath a car in Pokemon Blue.
Yeah.
There were quite a lot of school rumours about the game around that sort of time, weren't there?
There was, yeah. Well, the one that I was always hoping would be true was finding Pika Blue in Bill's secret garden.
Oh,
Yes, very sad to find out that was just a marrow.
Oh
who
no.
created these rumours?
And how did they travel
How
around
did they
before the
travel
internet?
around? Yeah.
I think it might have been Noel.
And final question in Dragonite's mailbag comes from Windy Wendy.
Oh, Windy Wendy.
Windy Wendy, she says, "Hi Jed, Ben and Finn." Don't know how she knew you guys were going to be here, but she did. And she said, "Who is your favourite human character from the Pokemon anime and why?"
Ooh.
What about you guys? Who's your favourite from the Pokemon anime?
For me, it's James. James. Just simply because of that, how he pronounces James in that song is so unique and alluring as well. It's just like James, and you're like, oh, okay, fair enough. He means business. That's pretty much why. I've got no other story other than the fact that I like the way he says James.
I'm going to go on the nose and say Ash himself.
Ooh.
Ash is your favourite
just,
character?
this is the namesake, and he is the epitome of Pokemon.
Yeah, Ash is my favourite human character as well. But I do like Team Rocket. I think you are, Ben. To be fair, but I never really was when I was a kid. Although my brother really likes her. I never really liked Misty. As a kid, I found her that she was like too bossy, like a bossy girl character.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like Misty.
I like Misty. My cat is actually named Misty.
Oh, and after Misty from the show.
Yes.
Misty's just as sassy.
Misty is just as sassy.
Is it a water type cat?
Yes.
Spits at you all the time.
All right, that was the questions this week. Don't forget, if you want to send in a question, you can do on the socials at Yeetamania, or drop a comment on the Spotify or Apple Podcasts page. You can put a comment on there, I'll read it or something. Or you can send an email, and you can send that to yeetamania@gmail.com. That about brings us to the end of this week's show. So the last thing I'd just like to ask both of you is a Pokemon life lesson. So if there's anything from Pokemon that you think we can learn from Pokemon and relate to our everyday lives from watching Pokemon, like resonates with you, or do you think you could relate to everyday life?
I think never giving up on your dreams, and if you want to one day be the very best at whatever it is that you're aiming and striving towards, keep at it and you will get there eventually.
Yeah, that's a good one, because Ash he never gave up, really, did he? He wasn't deterred by the many battles that he lost and the tournaments that he lost. He stuck at it.
My life lesson: never try to make your pets fight each other.
That's true.
We didn't. Well, the only pets we had growing up was a hamster, and I remember trying to act like he was my Pokemon, and luckily I didn't ever put him in a ball. But like I used to send him in a ball. I used to send. Yeah, true.
Go hamster.
But yeah, I used to send him out and act like he was my Pokemon. But if I had another hamster at the same time, 100% I'd make them battle each other as a child, and that would not have gone well.
That'd be like two Radicates, I suppose.
Exactly. But that's my life lesson: is don't.
You learnt that from your Pokemon family. You're telling others.
I learnt it, and I'm telling it to everyone else.
Yeah.
Do not make your pets fight each other, because it will end badly.
Hamster versus goldfish.
Currently, we have 2 cats, and they do fight each other, but I am not involved in that.
No.
I'm not a supporter of it. I'm actually quite offended by it.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you both for being on the show, Finn and Ben, and genuinely thank you for your support in doing it with friends. So
Yeah.
I always feel sometimes I'm like saying this bit, and it's like, oh, well, I know you guys, but you know me as well, and this Pika Pals podcast and all that type of stuff, it wasn't supposed to really grow into anything. People have been really kind and supportive, and it's mostly been my friends and family who've listened. But you in particular have been like really supportive of the show, and I genuinely mean that. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much, and thank you for being a guest on the show. Do you want to come back another day?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
As long
that
as I
is.
don't have to do the rap thing again, because I was terrible.
Well, who knows?
Yeah, I'll get me off every time.
Yeah, your bag just had 3 mouths.
Yeah, at least I didn't have to rap, because I thought you were going to say I
Or
had to rap.
karaoke.
Yeah, okay, karaoke might be fun.
Karaoke.
Yeah.
Karaoke.
Karaoke. way. And that brings us to the end of this week's show. Is there anything you'd guys like to promote? You got socials or anything you want to shout out? You got a cool one of your Pokemon cards and stuff. Where can people find that?
That is Gym Leader Nev on Instagram.
I'll put a link to it on the Eminia ones.
Yeah, no, so obviously for myself and Jed, we do a stream on Twitch called No Crumbs Gamers. We don't usually play actual games, but we do play like mini games inside of there, like Would You Rank or What Is This and all that sort of stuff, and it's a bit of fun. But we do that every single week, so if you want to tune in there, just search No Crumbs Gamers into Twitch.
Thank you very much. Okay, thanks again, guys. That's the end of this week's podcast, and you know what that means. The time has come. It's for the
I'm not going to join you in that
best.
song.
The time has come. It's for the best, I know it.
Somehow, some way, we'd have to say goodbye. Do 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 do. Somehow today, we have to say goodbye. Thanks, Pika Pals, for listening to today's episode. It was a special guest episode with my friends Ben and Finn. A lot of fun recording that and chatting about our Pokemon memories, and I'm sure that Ben and Finn will return as future guests. Don't forget, if you've enjoyed the Pika Pals podcast, to leave a review and a rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That really helps me out. And also send the podcast to someone who you think might enjoy it and might want to become a Pika Pal. You can follow me across all the socials for exclusive content and all things Pokemon. I'm at Yeetamania, or feel free to share your love of Pokemon, send questions, suggestions, complaints, corrections, anything you feel like to my email address, yeetamania@gmail.com. Just to say once again about my Pika Pals Unite fundraiser, along with the podcast, I'm deciding to raise money for a good cause, which is my local mental health charity, Mind in Somerset. All the details are in the episode description, and any donation of any size is massively appreciated and will go directly to Mind in Somerset, supporting the great work that they do. So that's it. That was today's episode, my chat with Ben and Finn. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. I've been Jed. This has been the Pika Pals podcast, and you've been a real Pika Pal.